welcome to episode 3 of After the Movie. Since I chose the movie for this week, I guess I'll be the one hosting this, even though Martin's the one actually hosting the Zoom session here. My name's Dane. Anybody else want to introduce themselves?
You're supposed to introduce us, Dane.
You lazy bastard.
You had one job.
I'm already fucking up. We also got Paul.
Hey guys, how are you?
Martin. Quinn.
Yeah, I'm here.
And Mo.
Hey guys, no video feed on me today, so just my audio, but hopefully I sound better.
All
And
right.
your full name.
Little fish bully, but a lot better.
So
Hopefully you'll have to do.
as I said at the very last second of last week's episode, the movie that we're going to be talking about for this episode today is the Friends of Eddie Coyle. I got around to watching that about maybe like 4-ish days ago, so I'm gonna try and remember everything that I could of it. Hopefully, Mo, you said you got around to watching it last night, right?
Yeah, and I took notes, even though there was
Notes?
no point because this movie was so dumb.
I'll
Talk
try
about a
and remember what I
do-nothing
can.
movie.
I hope everybody has as pointed an opinion on this movie as Mo does here.
Not a
Don't worry,
point of
no
opinion.
worries there, Dane.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got some stuff
Matter
in the
of
barrel.
So let's jump right into it then. Overall, what did everyone think of the Friends of Eddie Coyle?
Yeah,
It
I'll
was-
feel that one day, and I thought it sucked.
It was better than Moonstruck, but
Oh no, it was not.
oh
I have to agree
yeah.
with Martin. Not better
Yeah,
than Moonstruck.
I don't think it was better than
I mean,
Moonstruck.
it depends on what you're going for. Like if you wanted to feel like a recently divorced one-bedroom apartment, watching it on like a 1970s television set, it gives you the perfect feeling for that.
Well, yeah, because everyone's all muddled and you can't hear a damn thing, and that was just awful.
And the story doesn't do anything. Am I supposed to care about these characters? Because I sure don't.
No, the main
Okay.
guy's just a rat, and he just acts like a rat, and you're just hoping like he gets his the whole movie.
So he is a rat. I
Oh, he's
missed,
definitely
I missed
a
like
rat.
everything in this.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
It's because
I
it was
did
so hard
think-
to pay attention. I rented it yesterday. I fell asleep once, got distracted 3 more times before I finally finished this stupid movie.
All right, so here's the movie real quick. Dylan, the bald guy, used to be a friend of Eddie. So he's working with the feds. Dylan pretty much masterminds the whole thing to get Eddie caught in the first place, and then makes him work with the feds to rat out all of his friends. And then he frames Eddie to get a hit put out on him. And then the feds pretty much hire Dylan to kill Eddie. And then that's it.
The feds don't hire him. The mob does.
Yeah, the mob hires
Oh.
him to kill Eddie.
Oh, okay. But then he gets away with it at the end.
Well, 'cause
And
the
Peter
FBI
Boyle,
guy and that Dylan, or no, there's an FBI guy and then there's a mob guy, and they both look the same, and you can't tell them apart. And it's really, really frustrating.
and they
That's
all
true.
deliver just a deadpan delivery, and Peter Boyle is basically just playing his role in Young Frankenstein because that's how much emotion is put into it.
Peter Boyle has a very interesting life. He was best man at John Lennon's wedding to Yoko Ono.
I believe
he
this
lived in a
goes into
monastery.
the banter section, Quinn. I
Oh, okay.
believe. I
Are
don't
we
know.
not there yet? Okay. Does Martin being who's the main character in this, Dane? What's the actor's name? Eddie.
Robert Mitchum.
Okay. Does
Robert
Robert
Mitchum.
Mitchum and his Irish wife? I think Martin is just jealous that that's his life. I
Oh,
mean, he
God.
just comes home. Linnea's got potatoes boiling.
I
For
love-
him.
I loved that
Kiss her.
scene. That was so good.
Oh no! It's the middle of the afternoon.
It's just in the morning. We got to have sex yet, you horny bastard.
Get away from me or I'll get out the broom.
I'll sit down and eat your potato.
Any time of day is good for a potato. But yeah, so It was just
Truer
awful.
words have never been spoken. Sage wisdom. Any time of day is right for a potato.
So, so I'm interested in what Dane's take on this, since he requested the movie or suggested the movie, and real quick, I think this is similar to how you always look at movies, which is character driven, and it's only character development, and the storyline's god awful, and it's like Do the Right Thing. It reminded me of that.
Really?
Yeah.
In the way the narrative, the way the movie was very character driven. Here's the thing. This movie, right? I had only heard good things about it from some people whose opinions of movies I hold in very high esteem, right? Apparently, A.O. Scott had it as one of his favorite movies that he watched. He made a video about it a couple years back, and I wanted to watch. I enjoyed some of these older actors, Robert Mitchum being the other one, being the one. I wanted to see because of how well he did Max Cady in Cape Fear, and how
He is a
good did.
great actor. I agree, Dane.
He's a great actor. This movie, it's all about double crosses in this movie. It's not about like trying to find redemption. There's no like real good character arc about it. And the only thing that I could think of as I was watching is that this movie was like one of those super machismo 70s movies that like you probably would have seen at some seedy theater by yourself, like thinking to yourself, man, this is a fucking nice one.
And I don't know what it is about like the 70s, because it
true.
doesn't have like music, and I think it's like with the fall of the studio system, it's like they stopped like using like their musical soundtracks, and I don't know if that was just to like save money, if that's just like a cheap out 70s thing, or if it's not, because it doesn't have a soundtrack. I mean, it's just got like that 70s like porn music.
It's got like the Starsky and Hutch thing every time anything happens.
I will say that Starsky and Hutch, just very 70s soundtrack that happened like for 10 seconds at a time at random parts of the movie, definitely like took me out of watching it the entire, like as the movie was going on. But at no point did I ever think to myself like, man, I really am mad at myself for choosing this, for actually wanting to watch this. I thought personally it was a quality movie.
Well, I think that I can speak for Beggs and say that Beggs and I were upset with watching this for you.
Why don't we let Beggs speak for himself? Beggs, what did you think?
No, we don't have to hear what Beggs thinks.
I mean, I kind of just, I don't know. I mentioned it a little bit earlier. It kind of gives me the feel of kind of how I felt watching Scarface, but it's definitely not as good of a movie as Scarface. Just the production value kind of felt
production value is lower, but I don't like Scarface.
I'm not a fan of Scarface either, actually.
Neither am I. I Stompa You Cockroaches.
I don't think that's a quote.
It's something like that.
Is I bury them cockroaches, I think.
Oh, I bury those cockroaches.
I buy those mouse traps, yeah.
Say it in a really fake, over-the-top Cuban accent. That's right for Scarface.
I eat that chinchilla.
Let me pose a question to you guys here. For a movie called The Friends of Eddie Coyle, why do you suppose it was called that? Because from my viewpoint of it, nobody was friendly towards one another at all in the entire thing. Why do you suppose that was the name of it?
So I think it's because Eddie Coyle knew a lot of people and people that he dealt with closely. Oh, sorry, there's Noodle.
Noodle wasn't a fan of that line.
But I think that you hit the nail on the head earlier when you said it's all about the double cross. So it's all these people that he presumed to be friends of his, things that he thought was going to help him out. and it's all about the double cross in the end.
See, I think that it was a good movie in that it was like about double crossing, and I like that it's all about like anti-heroes. Like there's no good guy in this; it's all villains.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like it was just poorly executed. Like if it had been a movie with more development and better dialogue, or just like actual dialogue instead of just people kind of talking at each other occasionally, I think it would have been better. But I also thought it was somewhat predictable. I saw coming a mile away that Peter Boyle was going to be the guy who ended up double crossing everybody, who was like working for the feds, who was going to like go behind his back and cut a deal for himself.
Yeah, but Quinn, don't you think that we should look at it through somewhat 1970s eyes, where maybe something now that's become kind of contrite is something that might have been new then? I mean, if we're talking about an older movie, then yeah, we might see it coming because it might be a common story.
Yeah,
arc.
so I think that any amount that's true, because you do have to look at it through like how you would see it in 1973. But I think that it still was on the rollout. It was just lacking. Like even then, it could have been done better.
Well, aren't these like double cross scenarios with the mob and the FBI and everything else? Doesn't it like go back to film noir? Isn't it like a really old story to tell?
I think so, but I think that it's more in the execution that Quinn was talking about, or at least I thought, the story execution, that he saw it coming because of how they were telling this particular story. I mean, I think you're right, Martin. I think the idea of a double cross and mob and feds and all that stuff is a pretty old story. But I think that the execution of this one, I'd have to agree with Quinn, is kind of poor.
All right. Well, that's, I mean, as far as the title goes, I think it's just like an irony thing, because these, like, the people that he's ratting out, or sorry, Eddie is ratting out, are people that I assumed were probably his acquaintances and may have helped him out sometime with his, growing up within the mob system. And then this was his way to, get the old man's dream of going to Florida. He has to rat these acquaintances out in order to get there.
This makes me think over to, I think, probably my favorite movie of all time, Goodfellas, which every one of us has seen. At the very end of that one, Henry Hill had very much the same idea, definitely for other reasons. He, at the end of Goodfellas, was pretty much a marked man. Unlike, he didn't get into that circumstance the same way Eddie got himself into that same circumstance. But I can almost guarantee that every one of you guys would say that Goodfellas, in the way Henry Hill had his downfall, was a lot better than Eddie Coyle had his downfall.
Well, yeah,
is that safe to assume?
Eddie Coyle was up for, they said like 2 years? That's what he was going to be going away for?
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah, and it was just his pride that stopped him from doing the time like a man. That's why he turned into a rat.
Right.
It wasn't like Henry Hill. I mean, well, first of all, it's based on a true to life story, and it's my understanding that it's fairly accurate. So that automatically changes it a little bit for Goodfellas. But Henry Hill at the end, he says, to justify his rat behavior, that it's because they were going to kill him to keep him from testifying, so he testified to keep him from killing him. It's kind of a chase your tail kind of situation. but Eddie Coyle was not looking at heavy time. It seems more like he's just a coward who's trying to take the easy way out because he's too prideful to have his wife go on welfare, and he's, or go back to work or do any of these things. So I'm going to rat on these people and trade.
I think he's trying to do like Criminal Logic too. It's like, because he's trying to sell out like some kid, who's like new to the gun market, the downtrodden like gun market, and he doesn't sell out Joe Green. I don't know that actor's name, but he was just fresh from I'm Joe Green. I was making bones while you were in diapers from The Godfather.
Mm-hmm. No, Mo Green. Mo
Green, not Joe Green. Yeah, me and Alex are doing really good with the quotes today.
That was Mo Green, wasn't it? Holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was it's fresh from The Godfather.
I think his name is like Alex Rocco or something like that. It sounds
Yeah,
like he
yeah,
has a
Alex
mob
Rocco.
name.
Well, anyway,
Hey,
he didn't rat.
Rocco.
Oh,
He
Rocco!
didn't rat out Rocco. I think that's just what we'll call him now. He didn't rat out Rocco. he was like supposed to like still have like some kind of honor amongst thieves, I guess.
No, because he talks about it how it's only because he's gonna kill him if he rats him out. He can't do time if he rats out Rocco, and he decides to do it.
Yeah, and at the end he does decide to do it. Yeah, you're right. He's just a jerk. It's a good
The jerk Eddie Coyle. Yeah, that's about it.
Is a dirty rat.
It should be called Eddie Coyle has no friends.
It doesn't deserve it either.
He's a tattletale.
Rat bastard.
So I know Martin loved the star rating last episode. So
Oh.
Martin, how would you give us your stars for this?
Okay, I'd say it's a 1-star, and I'd give it a do not watch recommendation.
All right.
Oh yeah, we're gonna start doing that from now on. We're gonna give our watch or do not watch because there's some bad movies. Martin, why don't you explain? Because it was your idea.
I didn't hear about this idea.
Well, just because of the star ratings, you can have a 5-star movie and obviously want to recommend it. But if it's a 1-star movie, that really you just need to watch because of how bad it is or because of the weirdness of it or anything like that. You can you can give it a go ahead and watch once or buy it or whatever.
All right.
So okay, so then Alex is up next with the star rating and the do not watch or watch it.
Well, it should come as no surprise based on my appraisal that I give it a 5-star rating and a strong recommendation to watch. Yeah, I'm going to have to go ahead and give this one a 1-star and say do not watch.
Quinn?
I'm going to have to follow up on that and say that, yeah, I would say 1 star unless you're like super into films and you just want to see if you have Dane's reasoning. Then maybe just give it a watch to just see what it's about. But if you just like want to be entertained, don't watch it.
I think for the same reasons as Quinn just mentioned, I would say it's worth a watch, especially if you want to see it the way Dane has explained. But I think I'm going to give it a 2-star rating just because I looked at my rating for Moonstruck, which was 1, and this was much better than Moonstruck.
So wrong.
At least one person in the group enjoyed it a little bit more than everybody else. Personally, I'd give it a 3 out of 5. I wasn't expecting anything that's going to be life-changing, just sort of like this was another movie that was going to be added to another notch on the belt, so to speak, that I've been wanting to watch for a while, and this was the first one that came up to mind. I'd say watch it. Just, like, don't expect anything super crazy, especially for a 70s crime movie. Yeah, it was just okay to me.
And thank God it's over.
That being said, right now we're just going to be playfully bantering about this, that, and everything else, right?
Yeah, what did I bring
mean,
up
think
as
so.
banter?
I don't
Are we
know
in
how
banter?
stringently we need to stick to the outline, but yeah, I think that
Mo, I'm
now
going
is
to
the
cut
time
you
where
off.
we playfully banter.
Do it now.
How do we pick the next movie?
Yeah, that was another what I was going to just bring up. If we're not going to be like strictly adherent to it, who's choosing next? And if you want to say what it is going to be, say it now or save it to the very end, depending on
I
where we're at time-wise.
propose. I've got an idea on this. I think that we can stick with the established order so far. So we'll go with a rotation of Martin and then Dane.
Mm-hmm.
And then
I
think that
never picked Moonstruck.
and then I think that
It's on
Dane,
tape, Martin. Don't even try that.
Nah.
Dane, you
I'm
should pick
fighting
one
it.
of the three of us And then whoever you pick will pick the next one, and then obviously we'll have the last one, and then we can just cycle through that rotation. That's my proposal.
I want to add to that too, though, because I like that. That was going to be the idea that I suggest as well. But I think Martin has a good one for, after everybody has already picked and a possible wild card pick. Martin, would you like to enlighten them?
That is I had a name for it. What, the wheel of terrible picks or something like that. Spin the wheel of obscure picks. So
maybe like in Halloween or something, we should just pick all the movies that we all gave 1 star to, the majority gave 1 star to, and spin it so that we have to rewatch it as punishment.
Oh God.
We could do a theme movie
or something like that.
I think it'd be fun to do like a special episode around Halloween or Christmas or something like that when we live stream while we're watching it real time.
I like that.
That could be down the road.
Yeah. I've got a good one picked out, I think.
Think so?
Dane,
I've given it some thought.
Dane, pick the next person, and then we'll go on from there.
All right. So, of the 3 of you, is Quinn the only one that has one right now that he could say?
I got one.
I do not.
Do not? Okay. Hold up. All right.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna flip a coin here.
Oh
right?
yes. Wait, what kind of coin is that?
This is a 100 yen.
Ooh, that's 100 yen. I like those.
Yeah. So
you can't cheat those.
Flower side. This is the flower side, right? That's the 100 side, right?
Okay, what do you want, Beggs? Flowers or 100?
I'm gonna go with the 100s.
Okay, I'll take flowers.
100s. Here we go.
100?
Boom, Beggs, you got it.
Yes, in your face! In your fucking face!
Beggs, what are we going to be watching?
I'm just kidding, Quinn. So I wanted to, since nobody else wants to do the way that I pick, I'm going to do it. I'm going to pick an actor from the Friends of Eddie Coyle.
Okay.
We're going to go with Robert Mitchum.
Ooh.
Who was Eddie himself, but he is not an actor in this movie that I'm picking. He is the narrator. And it is a film that my father has been talking about since I was 7 or 5, maybe 5, and have not seen yet. This is Tombstone.
Oh, Tombstone,
the Western with Val Kilmer and Val Kilmer and fucking Kurt Russell and shit?
Correct.
Oh, baby.
Boy.
Have I watched that one?
All right.
It's from 1993 with
Kurt
Russell, Val Kilmer, Sam Elliott, Bill Paxton.
Yeah. Bill Paxton's dead.
All those guys you can crush on hardcore.
Oh,
those are super stud votes. It's an all-star cast.
Keep going, Paul.
Charlton Heston, and then Billy Bob Thornton, and Robert Mitchum is the narrator. Some other people.
Robert Mitchum was the narrator. I did notice his deep voice when I was watching the movie.
Whoa. He's the guy from El Dorado. He's the drunk.
El Dorado.
Wait, I can't even see Quinn's face. What is that?
Oh yeah, I'm behind it. I didn't set up my other camera. I'm behind the mic. It's either face or mic. I figured this is a podcast, so I went mic.
Get that stupid camera up, Quinn. That's ridiculous.
Dell puts their camera in the stupidest spot. It's below. It's not on top of the screen.
So yeah, I've been using another laptop right here, and I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's the same kind that I've got. It's so stupid. It's the dumbest thing you could ever do.
The dumbest thing. For people like me that have double chins, it's the absolute worst position to have a fucking camera put.
It just goes right up your nose.
You don't have a double chin.
You got a potato for a chin. What are you talking about?
You don't know how big of a compliment that is for Martin.
God, I'd kill for a potato chin like that.
Martin's still waiting on his dinner.
I'm very hungry
right now.
Very hungry.
What kind of potatoes were they making you tonight?
Ooh, I would love it. I wish. Not right now. We're having black bean burgers tonight.
Ooh, very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Getting a little saucy.
Vegetarian
Yeah.
action.
Something of the
Okay.
homosexual persuasion.
Slam some cheese in the middle of those. And
Oh, yeah.
really
We're getting some
fatten it up, baby.
Getting some feta cheese and some pickled red onions on top.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
baby.
No, you don't need that.
So
On a brioche
That's
bun.
trash.
Nope, really good. Anyway, go on.
I,
I'm having peanut chicken tonight for dinner.
ooh,
Peanut
that's also
chicken. Oh,
very
wow.
Thai of you. Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, you guys
Um,
can't see because my camera's not working, but I'm quite Thai. I'm full-blooded Taiwanese.
Quite Thai.
Has anyone actually seen Tombstone? Not to just go back to that for just a second. Has anyone else in the group seen that movie yet?
I was gonna ask
yeah.
I was gonna ask my memory. Mo, have I seen that movie?
No, Sides told you to watch it, but you haven't seen it yet.
Well, what's the western that I watched then? There was one. Is it the one where it ends and it has like a guy outside of his house with a grave and his wife died or something?
Sounds
Like a
very
horse in it or
Western.
something.
That's
like-
it, Martin. You got
It
it.
has the little scrolling letters on it. You know,
I
Probably
think
like-
you're thinking of Star Wars. I think
I
the
did.
scrolling letters at the beginning.
oh, it's a western.
Everyone always confuses Star Wars for a great Western from back
It
in
is-
the day. I know.
It is a
Had, like,
space
this
western.
guy in a black suit had a cape.
Martin, you know, we'll talk about it next week, but you may have seen it with that description. There's some similarities. It's not true to Tombstone though, so but you're hitting some chords that could be correct.
Wait, is Clint Eastwood in it?
No,
No, he is not.
No,
Okay,
no Clint
I didn't
Eastwood.
see it. Unforgiven, that's what I was thinking. Of.
Unforgiven. What a great movie.
Yep.
What a great movie.
Well, yes,
We're
I
about
have
to have
seen
a discussion on that
Tombstone.
one.
But I had a
I'm pretty
Tombstone.
stoked about this one.
I wanted to bring up since
Hurry
we've
it up, Dave.
talked to, what's that?
Hurry it up.
Right,
Less than a
right.
minute.
Oh, yeah.
So for everybody who was not part of the group here, there was a possibility that we would have had to switch out the movie because not everybody was going to be able to watch Eddie Coyle with money and everything, right? So I gave an alternate movie, which was free on Prime, right? That one's called Bone Tomahawk, which also happens to be another Western involving Kurt Russell as one of the main actors. Did anybody happen to catch that one during the week, or was I the only one?
Nope.
I did not
The
watch
only
that,
one.
no.
Negative.
Oh man, I'll keep my thoughts on that one until everybody else watches it.
Whistle for a cab when it came near. The lights place of freshness had Tyson the mirror. If anything that I could say, if this cab was rare, said, nah man, forget it, home to Bel Air. I pulled up to the house about 7 or 8 and yelled to the cabbie home. Stay later, looked to my kingdom, I was finally there. Sitting on my throne at the Prince of Bel Air.